Ho, mama, Gabe. We got a 12-team start 10. Pretty basic league. This is a big deal to get us started. Bo Nix, 1-3 and 201 for Justin Jefferson, 210. Nah, I guess you can count Jordan Mason in the fourth.
Yeah.
What side do you want here?
Man, the Discord just loves giving us some big deals. I think I'm leaning Knicks, actually, Ty.
I might be there with you. Let's talk about it.
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me. Hurt my feelings.
Welcome in, everyone. I'm Ty at Ty Declare 44. Yes, that is Gabe at iGabe_FF. And this is the All Gas Trade Show. Yes, coming at you, not live, but as close to it as we can on DDFFB right now. And yes, Gabe is back in the seat, our world traveler. He flew safe. His plane did not end up upside down or wingless. Gabe, happy to see your shining face. And how you doing, buddy?
Oh, man, I am doing great this morning. I walked into the office and can't lie to you, man. I had to dust off the cobwebs off my webcam and the mic. It was, it's been a little lonely over here, if you will. But yeah, everything's been great, man. Traveling. And again, just my family's been very spontaneous lately. And so it's just been a whirlwind, if you will.
I mean, for their time to be spontaneous, it's probably February, so I'll give you the pass there. But yeah, glad to have you back, and glad to have everyone else in the building here with us for another one. So let's get the housekeeping out of the way. DDFFB, those subs are climbing. Let's get to 4K by next week. Come on. So if you're not subbed yet, that's okay. You can hit subscribe, and we're gonna be all good. Hit like, engage us in the comments after the show. Gabe and I want to hear about the trades that you're pulling off, what you think about the trades on this show. So please let us know. Patreon.com/allgas. You know the deal. ddfantasyfootball.com. Use code TRADES, TRADEGOAT. Link in the description below. You get 50% off the all conference plus Discord tier, or get everything at the GOAT tier. And if you use one of those codes, Gabe and I got you for a free roster review on the arm. So let us know. Underdog, you know the deal. Use code ALLGAS. You get your special pick and up to 1,000 in a first time deposit bonus. And speaking of Underdog, Gabe, I mean, we got plenty of shows popping over, and I don't know if people are like in on the podcast game, but whether you're on Apple, Spotify, you can get this show and every other show that DD has to offer on, and I'll drop the links in the description as well, so check in there. And I mean, one of the biggest shows, I mean, the Best Ball Night School with Ed and Coach. I mean, if you want to get your Underdog drafts good and ready for these early tournaments, you got to tap in. They're dropping heat, and make sure you're tapped into everything. Scott, Shane, JB, Mitch, Dan, everyone on the channel is dropping, so it's a good time to be in fantasy. It's combine day today for running backs, quarterbacks, wide receivers. So It's ADV day, Gabe. And gosh, speaking of ADV, there's also ADP, which we've used startup draft stuff to try to break down deals on this show before. And there's I'll call it a new tool over on Dynasty Daddy, our favorite Dynasty tools in the space. They have this thing called ADP Daddy, and it's going to give us some trade calculators type edges. So we're going to use ADP Daddy today to break down some trades. ADP Daddy has used, over 50 million draft picks, over 300,000 real drafts. I'm gonna read it straight from the website here, Gabe. Using ADP and advanced exponential decay modeling. Don't ask me what exponential decay modeling is, but it sounds pretty cool. But it does generate accurate and dynamic trade values reflective of current trends in Dynasty. So we're going to check out some trends today. And I mean, what better place to start than the man, Justin Jefferson? You said Knicks 1-3, 201. I mean, I really can't hate it because Jefferson's the best player in the deal, no doubt.
Yeah.
But I mean, Bo Nix, he's a early third in a startup right now.
Yeah, somewhere around there. At least he's going for sure in the third round.
People like Knicks. People hated Knicks. Now they like Knicks. So, you catch the coattails of Knicks. You get to 1-3, which again, we don't really know how that's going to shake out. But if any of these quarterbacks go top 5, which, projected at least probably 2 in the top 6 right now, people are going to steam that up, and that pick is going to become more and more valuable. You get the upgrade from 210 to 2-1, which I think is probably the savviest piece of the deal. Jordan Mason in the fourth, I don't really know if that factors in much at all, but I don't. It's a good deal for both sides, I'll say. But I think I want Knicks the 1-3 and the 2-1 because I can either take Knicks in 1-3 and go and get something, again, going for a Jefferson type plus, and then I just upgraded my second, or stay pat, diversify out in a 12 by 10, and maybe you have a loaded wide receiver room to go with it. So Gabe, like when you see this, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, again, without having any context, right, to this trade specifically, it's going to be 1-3 tie. We've seen kind of in the ADP range of like a Cam Ward, Tet, Omarion Hampton, something like that, right? So if you could pencil in Tet and Bo Nix and the 201 for Justin Jefferson and the 210, to your point, I'm not really going to be valuing Jordan Mason in a fourth as much. Yeah, man, I think you could do 103 and Bo Nix for Justin Jefferson. I think that's a pretty good deal. I think depending on which side you land, if you need a quarterback or not, that might be a move that you'd be willing to make, right? But on the flip side of that, the 2-1 to the 210, and all you're getting back is Jordan Mason in a fourth. That does not clear that delta for me, man. That does not. I mean, I would be ecstatic to do that every single day of the week. I'll give you Jordan Mason in a fourth for plus my 210 for your 201. I just don't think that that's going to get done most times, right? Or anytime, really, outside of in a package deal like this.
Remember when you can get a second plus for Jordan Mason just a couple months ago? That was pretty crazy.
That was good times. Good times.
Pulling up here, got Dynasty Daddy, ADP Daddy. So I started Jefferson for Bo Nix in the early first, right? You're pretty much there. I'm assuming if you actually were able to type in 103, that would probably be pretty damn even. I mean, we add in the 210, late second and the early second, and we're still pretty much there. So add the fourth, add Jordan Mason. You're looking at, again, a pretty square and fair deal. For all things considered, in a 12 by 10, you're hammer hunting, go get yourself some Jefferson. But I feel like I can do more with that package. I'll take Knicks, the 1-3-2-1, and feel pretty good about it. So great deal to get us started off here, Adam. And Tyler, love your name. You got a good return as well. So good
a little biased, but yes, a little biased on the Tyler name.
So let's add a little bit of context here, Gabe. Okay. That was a tank job from the startup 2 years ago. Last season had a bunch of picks, hoarded some quarterbacks. Knicks was their quarterback 4. Behind Stroud, Caleb, May, and the wide receiver room's a mess. They still have 1-1, 1-6, 1-10, and some seconds and thirds. So, Gabe, this is where context will bring me to probably the other side, right? I have Knicks, I have I have assets I need to move, and I have a mess at wide receiver. Why don't we just go get one of the best wide receivers in the game? I can trade from my excess, not give up my best pick, and gosh, get a running back and a fourth thrown in, sure. So with context, you brought me there. I'll take the Jefferson side, but I still think Knicks 1-3 and 2-1 from a pure value sense. I can probably do more with that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. And again, that's why context kind of matters in some of these trades. It's a pretty even deal depending on how you look at it. But to your point, if I have 4 quarterbacks and 4 pretty good quarterbacks already, I don't need Bo Nix, especially in a start 10 super flex league, right? So I mean, I'd be more than willing to give up Bo Nix in the 103 for Justin Jefferson. Again, I mentioned it was a pretty spare deal already from the get-go. I still feel a little bad giving up the 2-1 for the 210 and only getting back Jordan Mason and a fourth. But again, sometimes you have to pay a little bit of a small premium, right, to get the deal done. So I can't be mad at it.
That's the price to pay, right? You're going to do a round 1 asset. Yeah, it's just going to be what it is. Speaking of round 1 assets, Jordan Backus, the original JB, got into a couple here. So JB brought us a 12-team start 11 superflex, PPR, 0.5 tight end premium, a 0.2 point per carry, so pretty significant, and a 6-point passing touchdown league. I'm assuming lineup. Their roster: Allen, Herbert, T-Law, Dak, Bijan, Brees, Bucky, Braylon, Chase, Jefferson, Neighbors, Wilson, Marv, Godwin, Andrews, Pat F, and of course the Senate. They have 101. Of course, they have 101 as well.
Yeah,
1-6,
why not? Why not?
210,
Why not?
2-3, 2-8, 3-26 first, 2-27 first. JB, Jesus, man.
Who's donating to JB in this league is my question.
I mean, we know M. Bennett's in the Discord. He got a nice little haul here off JB as well, but JB just gets into Allen and Herbert after having all those hammers on his team. Sends away Kyler, Anthony Richardson, JJ McCarthy, Marshawn Lloyd, 102, and a 26 first belonging to M. Bennett. Gosh. So Gabe, two best assets in the deal go to JB. I think of this from like a startup perspective. It's almost like you traded your 1 and 2 for a 3, 4, 5, 6, a future first, and whatever Marshawn Lloyd is. I don't hate it if I have to like split things, but again, we're dealing with JB's team here, and we listed off all of those hammers. At that point, you just got to be in consolidation mode, man. And what I want to hear you break down the deal, but I also want to hear like, how do you feel about taking Murray, AR, and JJ and being able to turn that into an Allen and a Herbert with some extra fluff on the other side? Like, how do you feel about the deal structure itself, and where do you come down here?
Yeah, I mean, if you break it down, JB had a ton of quarterbacks already on his team because he had, I think you said it was Dak and T-Law, if I remember correctly, and then it was Kyler, AR, and and JJ McCarthy. So JB was just hoarding quarterbacks over here, man. So for me, this one's going to be an interesting one because I agree. Like in a start 10 tie, you want the hammers, man. You want the best players in the deal, right? And especially in a super flex league, he has the backups already in T-Law and Dak if he needs to make additional moves, and he has Josh Allen and Justin Herbert, right? Just ready to go into his lineup every single day. So the way that I would kind of break this deal down is, again, we got to start crossing some people off, right? I don't think Kyler Murray and Justin Herbert are probably the two that I want to start with because I think they're the closest in value, if you will. And so Kyler Murray in a first, I think is too much for Justin Herbert, right? So I think, I mean, just in the landscape of it, they're only separated by a couple of spots, maybe a tier or so. I feel like the sentiment was out on Justin Herbert for a little bit there. People were kind of like, I don't really know. But then Harbaugh came in, and it looks to be a little bit better of an offense, right? So I personally would go Kyler Murray and Anthony Richardson to kind of get us kicked off. How do you feel about Kyler Murray and Anthony Richardson for Justin Herbert if you need quarterbacks?
Yeah, because I mean, if I'm sitting there, like I typically don't want to split my one quarterback for two quarterbacks, but when you're in the Herbert and Murray range, like that's close enough where if I can get a high upside shot on someone that maybe I believe in or think I can flip, like I can see that. So I think if I had Herbert, I personally wouldn't split him for Murray and another quarterback because I feel like I just want something different. And that second pick from a pure value standpoint, though, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to say. I mean, I don't know who's paying Kyler Murray in a first to get to Justin Herbert. I mean, they're separated. Exactly. If I look on here, it's like 5 spots, 6 spots.
Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of one of those things where are people really going to be adding a first on top of it? They're definitely not adding the 102. So then that kind of leaves me with JJ McCarthy at 26 first and the 102. I'm not really going to include Marshawn Lloyd into this because, I mean, I don't even know what he is. Right. And so
running back 60.
Yeah, exactly. Running back 60 in a start 10 league. So no, I mean, you hope and pray that you never have to start Marshawn Lloyd, but again, you just never know, right? So just JJ McCarthy, a 26 first and the 102 for Josh Allen. I mean, personally, I'm just like, give me Josh Allen. But I can understand, like, if you need to split assets, I can understand you getting into the other side of the package, but I definitely want Josh Allen over that.
I think a big part of this deal too is that M. Bennett 94 gets their 26 first back.
Oh yeah, right? You have to pay a premium for that too.
Yeah. So because what does that do for you, Gabe? It unlocks your future. You control your team next year. So if it doesn't go your way, you can pull the cord and have a premium pick coming your way at the end of the season. Versus, so again, if it's a random other person's first, but if you're getting your first back, you one, have to pay up for that, and two, it should be worth more. So I think that's it. That's going to be a bit of a factor here, but I got ADP Daddy pulled up. So let's go over here. I included Marshawn Lloyd, right? But pure value, right? It does have the package side on there. Let's even just take out Lloyd. It's still the package. I'll tell you what, when it's this close, who cares? Right. So this is a good deal for both sides.
I agree.
But again, you're clearly just getting the two best assets in the deal on JB's side. And what we know from JB's team, it only makes sense to try to consolidate and hammer hunt. So I think this is probably a deal that makes sense for both sides. M. Bennett if they are rebuilding, they move their team forward. pretty soundly, I would say, by taking 2 assets and turn it into, we'll call it 6, probably 5, right? But it all comes down to me, what they do at that 102 and their 26 first. If they're just going to sit there and choose the player, I'll just take JB's side. And I think I'm more aligned with you, is that just give me Josh Allen and Justin Herbert and I'll figure it out. But I can't hate it from either side. I think it's a good deal. Just maybe not what I would do to split my Allen and Herbert.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, you would love to get a positional player in there, right? Or something of the sort. But again, just maybe he just really needed the quarterback help and really just to get some additional assets, right? We don't have the context on the other team. And so I think for JB, it's a great deal. I mean, you look at that team has arguably the number 1 player at each respective position, depending on, I mean, I think Gibbs is over Bijan, but it's right there. And then you have Chase Jefferson, it's right there. And then you have the 101 too. So it's like, man, just an incredible team, JB. Good job.
Great job, JB. I mean, I'm just curious, like, what I would even do with this team. I'm thinking like T-Law and Dak. Like, I'd love to be able to move one of those guys. Yeah. Adding Genty to Bijan, Hall, Bucky, probably not like the most prudent move. You know, you
Seems
can
like
probably
overkill. Yeah,
a little bit, right? But I mean, like Marshawn Lloyd was probably just another running back at 53. So I assume you have those guys on your bench already. So I mean, I don't know, Gabe. No. Can I take T-Law in 101, and can I try and climb up and get into like a Malik Neighbors, CeeDee Lamb, like that kind of an asset? Or like, I guess he already has Neighbors, so you're not doing that. And you have G. Will and Marv already.
I know where I'm going. I'm going directly to the tight end room. I like Andrews. But man, you have an abundance of assets that, I mean, you don't need it, right? You have
understatement.
Yeah, you have luxury. It's at this point, JB, you have luxury picks, right? Like you really do have luxury picks. And so if I were you, man, I'd go try to get Brock Bowers, Trey McBride, something of the sort, like a difference maker at your tight end position, and then just have Pat Freiermuth, or if you have to use Andrews, like to get into one of those guys, I'm perfectly fine with that. But no, man, I definitely think you can make some really good moves with this team. And to your point, I'm okay with not having 4 quarterbacks, Ty. I don't need Allen, Herbert, T-Law, and Dak. Like, take your pick of who you like more between Dak and T-Law, and I would move them as well into a positional player or a pick that you can later turn into something different.
I got 2 questions for you, Gabe. 1.
All right, let's hear it.
T-Law and or Dak for any 26 first, any 27 first. When you have JB's team here, do you want just the liquidity? Again, I'm not even giving you like it could be mid, like any first, 26 or 27. What do you prefer there?
I still want T-Law and Dak, but I understand what you're trying to do. Like, I understand where we're going with that. And so I'm okay to make the deal. Just know that you're selling a little cheaper than I feel like what you can normally get from them.
So maybe you can get a little something there. Okay.
Yeah, I think you can get a little something there, right? But again, I mean, if that's the best offer that you have on the table, JB, you don't need 4 quarterbacks, man. You don't need 4 quarterbacks. Can you turn around and have that 101 and that 26 first for Brock Bowers or something? I'm sure you could probably get something like that done. I'm pretty sure you could get something like that done, man.
There we go. So we got T-Law on the first, like a late 26 first to give T-Law the edge, like you said, but yeah, let's just see Dak. Same story, right?
So, yeah, same thing.
Value-wise, it's probably there. It just depends kind of what you want to do with your team there. My other question, you pretty much already answered it. Even in a 1.5 tight end premium, you're spending 101 and probably even adding a small plus to get into like a Bowers or a McBride. Yes.
I mean, yes, but I think that in the context, especially in the league with the 2 points per carry, I definitely feel like you can get some nice little juice back. So I definitely would be looking to do that, right? Again, I just threw out those names just as a starting point, if you will, but I do think you could get something back, especially knowing the premium of tight end and the premium of running back, because a guy like Genty, a guy like Bijan or Bucky, or hey man, they are scoring some points and a 0.2 point per carry. So no, absolutely. I do think that I would be willing to make that move, but I also believe that you could get even more on top of that package with or for Brock Bowers. Yeah.
Sure. Even though you have a team where people are probably going to squeeze you for value one way or the other, you can probably get a little something more there and really optimize this team. But that's a fun team to have going into the season. Jeez. got a ton of trades this week, so we're not going to hit them all. Drew saying there's a startup that you and I aren't in, so sad face. They're throwing down bombs early. Hot. Here we go. Tidewater, JC. Superflex, we'll call it 12 teams, start 9. No, tight end, start tie. Yeah. Puka Nacua or Smitty and LaPorta. So again, no, like a 0.5 no tight end premium. No tight end premium. So Nacua to Smitty, it's Nacua, but Smitty's not nothing. LaPorta, it's a nice roster piece. Like it's a tight end I want, but again, a non-tight end premium. I feel like you can really approach tight end in a multitude of ways, and you're just trying not to lose there. You're not necessarily trying to win at tight end when I'm in those leagues. How do you feel here, Gabe? Nacua or Smitty and LaPorta?
Yeah, man. God. Nacua is fantastic. Smitty, I like Smitty. I like LaPorta. Start 9 though, man. It's just such a shallow league. I want the guy that I know I can plug and play week in and week out and not have to worry if he's going to get points or not, because Nacua is absolutely going to smash next year. And I think I just saw a report that the Rams were getting ready to finalize another deal with Stafford, I think. So sounds like Stafford's going to be coming back as well. I don't think I'm ready to give up on LaPorta, Ty, but this past year, man, I'm not going to say it wasn't great, right? But it didn't meet our expectations. Let's say that. It didn't meet our expectations. And so he's one of those guys that you definitely still want to have, especially just given the tight end landscape. But in this deal, I'm going to lean Puka Nacua. Just give me the hammer wide receiver.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like LaPorta end of the year with 3 games of 15 plus fantasy points. Like down the stretch, he did it for you. He started to score more touchdowns. Like it almost felt like the Detroit offense. It was like, all right, can I just count on a touchdown and then just enough volume, a couple targets just to get me by, and then I'm happy I have a piece of it. But yeah, especially in like a 0.5 tight end premium. I mean, we were way over our skis putting LaPorta tight end 1 in Dynasty. It probably shouldn't have happened, but that was the state of the tight end position. So LaPorta is probably now more appropriately priced around like that tight end 3 range. But just looking at ADP Daddy, Puka, Smitty, and LaPorta, it's a fair deal. But like you said, once we start to kind of dig in a little bit more on the context, on the league itself, 12 by 9, no tight end premium. I'm with you, Gabe. Just give me the hammer, and this would be a great way to try to use that value that Smitty and LaPorta have to consolidate into a Nacua. I'm firmly on Nacua's side here, even though it's a fair deal value-wise. Anything else on this one, Gabe?
No, I don't think so, man. I don't think so. I think he got, again, I'm with you on the Puka Nacua side, but I think it's not a terrible split price either.
Not a terrible price, but again, we know what we're doing. 12 by 9 and no tight end premium. We're just climbing ladders, and I'm okay to play a little bit dirtier at tight end, especially when after the top 4, 6, it probably doesn't matter in that league. And good luck knowing what tight end is going to be tight end what on a week to week basis. So aside from what McBride and Bowers, Hinkie, no tight end, smash, love it. Big Diaz in the startup with Big Diaz right now. My only snake startup of the season, so y'all got lucky. All right. Big Diaz, this isn't from our league, but 12 team start 10 Superflex PPR. You got a 1+1 tight end premium, big play scoring bonuses, big throwing bonuses, reception bonuses, making some bets and pivots. He's a champion, combined bonus 2 points champion, whatever. Making bets, pivots, thinking I can do more with the package in the offseason and figure out quarterback 2 later. So Diaz sends away Stroud and Monty. David Montgomery gets back Brian Thomas Jr., 2.5, 2.6, and the 3.05 in 2025. So, Gabe, 12 team start 10 Superflex PPR, big old bonuses. Stroud, your boy, Stroud and David Montgomery. We're getting to BTJ and a slew of picks in what should be a deep draft.
Oh, Ty, don't do me like this, please.
I gotta do
please,
you. Gotta
please do it. Please don't make me do this. Man, As you just mentioned, love me some Stroud. I know it wasn't a great year for us Texans this year, but I do think there's better days ahead. Let me preface by saying that. That being said, though, I think 1-for-1 tie. I think I kind of lean BTJ, man, over Stroud.
It's not even a lean for me. It's just BTJ.
I know.
It's just BTJ.
Again, there's a little bit. I got to lay it down slowly, right? Because I can't sit here and say like, oh, it's BTJ clear as a head, like,
right?
Because it hurts my heart a little bit, right? There's still a little bit of. I'm still a human. You know what I mean? I still have feelings, Ty. I can't just. It's BTJ over Stroud easily, right? But it is. To your point, it is BTJ over Stroud. So then that leaves me with the 205, 206, and a 305 for David Montgomery. I really like David Montgomery, and I do think he's going to be just fine next year. I think he's going to have a good year next year. But you give me two chances, man, in this class, I think I could figure out a running back position. You know, again, he's one of those guys that I definitely want to have. But I'm cool with taking two darts for in the mid-second, and I can fix that running back room later on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just looking at like startup stuff right now, like BTJ is going around that 1-2 turn. Stroud is again like kind of later in the second, so he's still there, right? But it's just I think like what Joe Burrow kind of showed and what Stroud from last year to this year showed is like if you don't have that like rushing plus in your profile, you do need the outlier season to get up into the top 5 quarterback range, and when you do, it's beautiful. And you have to have the right offense to support it. And I mean, what we expected from the Texans offense with Bobby Slowick, with Diggs, with Tank, with Nico, it looked great at the start. And then it just kind of fizzled. The team just, I don't know. Something was not right with the Texans last year. And even
everybody
with that,
got injured.
They made the playoffs. Like Stroud still has a second round startup value. So as far as a dip in value, it's not that bad for Stroud, but for this deal in particular, I mean, I want BTJ over Stroud. I can understand someone wanting to lock up that quarterback, especially if Stroud's going to be their quarterback one. You know, can you use Stroud to get to another quarterback if that's your game? I'm just going to take the wide receiver there and Brian Thomas Jr. with all of these big point bonuses we got going on too. Yeah. And Monty in the format, like I love Monty. I think he's going to be undervalued until he's out of the league probably. But for a second, a 205, a 206, and a 305, thank you for your services, Monty. You will be missed, but I will take the picks. ADP Daddy agrees by like an early first's worth agrees. Even if I make this 2025 late second and a 2025 late third, it's still a landslide for the picks and BTJ. So pure value wise, Diaz, I think he did well here. I agree. I can figure out quarterback too at a later date here. Let me climb the ladder. Let me get some picks to play with here, especially like right here today when all the running backs, the wide receivers, the quarterback, like we're going to be, not everyone's participating at the combine, and what the future of the combine looks like, that's another conversation. But for right here, right now, we're going to see dudes run fast in underwear, and people love that in fantasy. So let's go.
There you go. I love that.
Nothing else to say. That's it.
Just mic drop. People will run fast in their underwear. Mic drop. Just stop the conversation there.
Yeah. Anything else on old Diaz's deal here?
No, my friend.
Cool.
Hurts my heart, but no.
Sucks. We got Girth, who just fleeced someone. We all kind of talked about this one in here. He's at the 15-point tight end premium. That would make that deal work. Don't got to go over that here. He got sent a KTC screenshot. That's why you use ADP Daddy. A couple more deals, same league. Let's take a look at one or two of these here. So a few more deals. So 12 teams, start 11 superflex, half PPR, no tight end premium, start 2 tight ends. Again, he got into a worthy and early first for some stuff.
Literally some stuff.
Literally some stuff. No guts, no sausage. Sends away Diggs and Anthony Richardson. Gets 105, 305, and 405. I loved the times when I could get a 105 for Anthony Richardson. I I don't think that's my reality today.
Absolutely not.
Diggs is dope, but he doesn't really close that delta for me. Gabe, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me Diggs. Tell me Diggs is the man, and that's it.
I mean, he is the man. He is the man, but not for the 105. He's definitely not the man for the 105. I mean, in season tie, dude, you couldn't get a second for him after his injury. Like, he was literally a 3rd round pick. And so, again, it's just aging veteran who gets injured. We've seen the story a million times. People are out. I mean, if you can get something like this is a fantastic return for both parties. Like, for, I was going to say both parties, but I meant for both players. For Stephon Diggs and Anthony Richardson, again, Anthony Richardson is probably going to be in a competition this year. Who knows what his future looks like? Stephon Diggs, aging veteran who just is coming off of a really bad injury, right? So at that point, it's just give me the 105, man. Give me the 305 and give me the 405. Like, I think even if this was just if this was just a 105 tie, like, I would still be happy, like, to take this deal pretty easily.
Yeah. Like I said, the Diggs doesn't make up that gap for me, and you're just getting a couple of late picks tacked on. Yeah. And in this draft, I'm drafting a running back and a tight end most likely, and just being happy with those picks. So I'm not adding those into another deal.
Yeah.
And then we continue on. We just send away Pittman. We get the 205. That probably feels a little more square. But I think most people at this point, just knowing what we know about Anthony Richardson, that offense, like, just there's unrest right now in the dynasty streets for the Indianapolis Colts offense. So I'll probably just take the 205, trade out of that flat range of wide receiver, and try to use that second in another way.
I mean, yeah, this one is definitely a lot closer for me. Again, I think it's a lot closer. I do like Michael Pittman, and I do think that there was a point in time where I really felt like he was going to be a very, very good wide receiver for us in fantasy. And I still believe that that could be true. I just don't know how true that is, to your point, with Anthony Richardson at the helm. And so I'm a little hesitant, but I agree with you. I think I'd just rather take the reroll and just figure something else out, because, again, I think I can do more with that 205 right now than I probably can with Michael Pittman.
Yeah, I agree with you. And finally, third deal here. So again, what was it? 12 teams, start 11 super flex, no tight end premium, start 2 tight ends, half point PPR. Why is this not popping up? There we go. No guts, no sausage sends away Isaac Garendo, Ty Chandler, and the 106 gets back JT, 3-6, and the 408. This is the closest deal of the 4 that you've sent in here. I had someone in my DMs asking me, well, not anyone, my boy Heath was asking me, like, what's the highest pick you would send for a JT? And I mean, like, 109 plus, like 109 was a pretty easy, like, I would definitely probably add something small to 109 at least to try to get it to JT. 106 though, that's a bit, it's a bit more oomph. You're sending a 3-6 and a 4-8 away with it. You're getting Chandler and Garendo. Where do you come down on this one?
Yeah, man, this is just based on what I know. Again, JT, man, at the end of the season, like, if we can talk about that for a second, JT at the end of the season was fantastic. Like, he was so good at the end of the season, man. Like, getting towards, like, he was just absolutely smashing. And so he's one of those guys that the community really loves. They really like JT. And I know that it wasn't great for him kind of at the start of the season, if you will, but I do think that there are better days ahead for him specifically. I don't know about the Indianapolis offense as a whole, but they have a great O-line. I mean, they have a lot of really good things going for them. And so I'm looking at the ADP chart, Ty, and 106 right now, man, is looking like either Travion Henderson, Emeka Egbuka, or Luther Burden.
Yeah.
Somewhere around that range are those guys. I kind of want to say that I would take Jonathan Taylor over Travion Henderson. Like, it's, I was like, I mean, I know what I'm getting. And sometimes the saying, the devil you know is sometimes better the devil you don't, right? And so I know what I'm getting myself into with Jonathan Taylor. I like Travion Henderson. This is before his combine, so again, we obviously don't know what that looks like. And to your point, this is where really people can swing one way or another. But I think based on what I know right now, I'm going to lean Jonathan Taylor but I do think it's a definitely a conversation that you can have for sure.
Yeah, I think if I was forced to make the pick, I think I would take Jonathan Taylor over those guys with what we know, right? Like if I could try to project what Indianapolis does this year, we talked about it in voice chat a couple of days ago. It's like I could see them just running Anthony Richardson into the ground. They use all the capital to get him. Now they don't know if he's the future, but you best damn sure bet that they're going to try and get every ounce of talent they can out of him while they do have him. So I could see them going like Army, Navy style, 3 yards in a cloud of dust style offense just to use what they have in Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson and just go beat some dudes up and hopefully win some messy games. So I could see Jonathan Taylor having closer to what the season ended as versus how it started. Because hopefully that offense knows what it is. It felt like the offense was just seeking an identity for most of the year. So who knows what happens with that offense? This is the closest one. I'll still take JT knowing what we know, but yeah. So I pulled up here. I just kind of mushed all 3 deals together, just so you can kind of see the totality because we like cascading deals, right? Sent away Diggs, Richardson, Pittman, Garendo, Chandler, and a 2025 mid first. You got back Jonathan Taylor, mid first, late fourth, late third, mid second, late third, late fourth. Calculator has it out 13,000 to 10,006 basically for the side that no gut, no sausage has. They recommend Tua, Judy, ETN, Mark Andrews, Jaden Reed as the type of piece to get in there. And really, when you kind of look at these 3 deals, that's probably about it, right? You probably gained about a starter's worth of value that hopefully you can go and move in to get a starter or have some bullets to have in the season to go make some moves when you need to. So I like it, Girth. We don't need to talk about your absolute smash deal above, which just made all of these other deals just fun. But yeah.
He went 4-0, my friend. He went 4-0.
We love it. That's we don't see that often, right? Usually it's one deal too many, but you did it. So good stuff. Okay. 206 or DeAndre Swift? 12 team start 10 super flex. Yeah, 2-6.
Yeah, I'll take the 2-6.
I can't fault you there. Just flat range. Give me the pick. I'll do something with it.
Yep.
John Cray. Couple of quarterback buys. 12 team super flex. Start 11. PPR. 6-point passing touchdown. Gabe. Bang. First deal. Kyler Murray. Pop Douglas. And the 201 being acquired for Lamar Jackson. Action Jackson getting moved in this deal, Gabe. Was it 12 by 11? Yeah, 12 by 11 PPR, 6-point passing touchdown. Gabe, let's look at it from a pure startup value. Okay, Lamar Jackson, top 3 pick. Kyler Murray, currently going in the 4th round somehow. No, 3rd round, end of the 3rd round. Pop Douglas, just not in the range. He's a better in best ball asset. 2-1 is cool. 2-1 is going in the 9th round currently. So are you sending your 9th, a 3rd, and probably a 13th round pick to get up to 103 in a startup there, Gabe?
I mean, this has to be like one of the cheapest Lamar Jacksons I've ever seen, like being acquired.
Must be.
So absolutely. I am more than happy to send Kyler Murray, Pop Douglas, and the 2-1 for Lamar Jackson. It doesn't really matter like the context of it. This is a very cheap Lamar Jackson, man. Very, very cheap Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. I mean, even in a 6-point passing touchdown league, which, I know that can play a factor, you're kind of staying in the same realm of quarterback, like the same structure of a Kyler and a Lamar, but it just feels like you're just getting the best version of that quarterback for a very, very, very acceptable price.
Oh, yeah. I mean, guys going in the 201 range, to your point, Matthew Golden, Trey Harris, maybe Ollie Gordon, it's just those guys definitely do not bridge. I like some of those guys, right? But they definitely do not bridge the gap anywhere near to get into Lamar Jackson.
No. ADP Daddy agrees. 9,757 for Lamar, 6,823, suggesting a late first, Jalen Waddle, Bryce Young, Alvin Kamara to make that happen. So yeah, you're short about a starter's worth of value there for sure. Not how I want to trade out of my Lamar. So good work to get into that Lamar. But Gabe, we have another one here. Your boy, CJ Stroud. And 12 team start 11, Superflex, PPR. JJ McCarthy, Chris Olave, and Jalen Polk being traded away for CJ Stroud. How do you feel on this one?
What was the context again?
12 team, start 11, PPR, 6-point passing touchdown.
All right. I'm digging my heels in, Ty.
Oh.
I'm digging my heels in. I want CJ Stroud.
Okay.
I want CJ Stroud over what I know JJ McCarthy is. Again, I mean, we're penciling him in as just a first right now. We really don't know. I mean, we think he'll be the starter this year. He should be the starter this year, but we really don't know what that kind of looks like. Chris Olave, man, I like Chris Olave, and he's definitely a guy that I've mentioned before on the show that I'm actively looking to buy. I think his value is a little suppressed, and I do think that there are definitely better days ahead in New Orleans. I don't think Derek Carr will be the quarterback starting this upcoming year. And obviously they have a lot of management front office changes, if you will. And so I'm excited to see what that offense looks like. But I'm going to take the shot, man, on CJ Stroud and just hope and pray that he bounces back. And it was just a sophomore slump. Again, I know he lost a ton of his players, man. And we talk about it, but his offensive line really was awful. Right. But losing Stephon Diggs, losing Tank Dell, losing Nico Collins, I mean, that's a really big loss for any quarterback. You know, like Joe Burrow goes out there and loses Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. I mean, it's not going to look the best either, right? It's not going to look the best either. So I'm willing to give not a pass because I do think he didn't do himself any favors this upcoming year. But I do believe that there are better days ahead for Houston. And so with that, I'm going to just take CJ Stroud, man. I'm going to take CJ Stroud.
Yeah, man. I mean, when you're looking at it from what did you pay to get there? You traded a quarterback who hasn't started an NFL game yet.
Yep.
Right. He was hurt all last year. People love him, but what happens if they give Sam Darnold a 2 or 3 year contract?
Mm-hmm.
I know it's going to be competition. Like if talent should win out, but I mean, it's not like a guarantee he's starting up. I expect him to, but it's not a guarantee. Chris Olave, some people want nothing to do with him, you know, so it's a bit of a risk, but I mean, Olave is probably the cheapest you're ever going to get him. So if you want him, go get him. Jalen Polk really shouldn't factor into this one way or the other. TBD if he's on a dynasty team, let alone an NFL team over the next couple of years. But I mean, ADP Daddy, they want the package. Even if we take Polk off, it's still a Juwan Jennings in an early third, a Pat Fryermuth, Jonathan Brooks, like that kind of a range. So a range of player that I am willing to be wrong if I can just get into the guy that I want to take my conviction bet on.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you
absolutely.
What, if I just made this deal for Lamar Jackson, I'm putting my phone down. I'm like, you know what? I accomplished it. I did it. I have no clue what you have on your team aside from these deals here. I don't need to make this CJ Stroud deal, but I don't hate it.
Right? I mean, to your point though, like if the calculator's telling me that I'm off by a third or Jonathan Brooks, I would happily be okay with losing out on a third of value to get into something that's a little bit more secure. Again, CJ Stroud went from the highest of highs to not producing, and he's still what, QB, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, somewhere around there, I'd imagine.
8, I believe, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, come on now. Like, again, I understand that the outlook for him has to be like he has to have a Joe Burrow-like season or an outlier season. But again, man, he was missing his best receivers for multiple weeks on end.
Yeah.
So I do think Houston will figure it out. I'm okay with losing a third of value in this deal, especially if I just gained over a first of value in the other trade. Like, I'm okay to lose some deals, man, to get the guy that I want.
Definitely there with you. Like I said, you gotta give a little to get a little, and a third Juwan Jennings, Pat Fryermuth, like that's a very small cost to get what you want. So have conviction. You can get some things done this time of year. Okay, I think we got at least one more in us here. Worthy in a third for Odunze, Olave, Daniels. Ooh, okay. Javonte. Yeah, let's end on Javonte for a third and a fourth. No, thank you. Goodness. Not my trade. The only information I was able to obtain is the guy that got Bucky Irvin really liked him and was down on KW3. Oh, and he's in a rebuild. We've strayed too far from the light where we're sending away Pickens and Kenny Walker for Bucky Irvin. Even Cody, the conductor of the Irving train, he is off that train. He is not shoveling coal onto that train no more. We've gone too far. Just that, Gabe. We don't got to talk about it.
We don't need to talk about that. Yeah, we don't need to talk about that.
But come on. All right, here we go. Same range of wide receiver, more or less. People are going to like CeeDee. CeeDee is actually like lower right now. But Gabe, 12-team Superflex start 10. CeeDee Lamb and the 302. Or Garrett Wilson and 107.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, it is Garrett Wilson or CeeDee Lamb over Garrett Wilson pretty easily. Like, I don't think they're relatively that close right now. But the 107 and the 302 are definitely not anywhere near. So again, looking at the ADP, man, it's just something that I like to have been like to reference, right? That way we can put some names to these players. Travion Henderson, Emeka Egbuka, Luther Burden. Garrett Wilson and Emeka Egbuka or Luther Burden for CeeDee Lamb, and just give me Garrett Wilson and Emeka Egbuka or Luther Burden. Like, I love CeeDee Lamb, but to your point, I think Garrett Wilson could produce close enough to CeeDee Lamb, depending on what the Jets do. Obviously, it's not Aaron Rodgers, right, going to be at the helm, so depending on what they do. But I do think that Garrett Wilson will continue to get his, and I'm good with taking an upside chance, man, on a guy like Egbuka or Burden or even Travion Henderson if I can. Like, I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, we got a ways to go until we truly know how the rookie drafts are going to shape out and where guys are going to fall. But I mean,
for sure.
I'm looking at that 3-2 as well there, Gabe. And like, I don't think Ollie Gordon, Trey Harris, Matthew Goldman, I don't think those guys, I think Loveland will be higher. But I mean, Isaiah Bond, Devin Neal, Tez Johnson, Harold Fanning, Damian Martinez, RJ Harvey, Brashard Smith. Like, there's so many names that I could want with that third, where if I'm looking at ADP Daddy here, it does have the CeeDee Lamb side winning. If we take off the third, it's still technically a CeeDee, right? But again, that's CeeDee Lamb wide receiver 3 versus Garrett Wilson wide receiver 14. So, you know, that's where if Garrett Wilson starts hot, can creep back into that top 12 dynasty wide receiver range, you're probably at least even. But again, it's a fair deal there. You add the third, you're probably going to need a third worth of value elsewhere. So if you just simply want CeeDee Lamb, you want to rid yourself of the Jets headache, and maybe you have multiple picks in your back pocket and you're like 1-7, like, I can deal with that if I can get the deal that I want, get a third back. I'm cool getting CeeDee there. But like you said, man, like 1-7, that gives you access to probably a pretty cool player or something you can do a lot with over the next couple months here. So I think it's a square deal, a nice deal, but I will take CeeDee in the third from a pure value standpoint.
Boom. I love it, man. Yeah. And again, I do think that Garrett Wilson's value is a little suppressed right now, to your point, just because the Jets aren't in shambles, quite literally. And so sometimes you got to make the early bets, man. You got to make the early bets. And so to your point, if that's CeeDee Lamb for you guys, then hey, let's do it, man. Again, I can't fault anybody for going either way on this deal. I think it's a good deal. So yeah, good stuff, man.
Shout out to Laughing Lizard. This is one of my favorite memes, the Laughing Lizard thing. So yeah, love that. Let's see. We got one more in us, Gabe. I know we do. We've taken too much time off. Here we go. Wow. Maybe not that. Yeah, maybe not that one. That's I will trade away my Breece Hall for that. It's got a little gross. Okay, Broncos here, lefty golfer. We're going to give one of your deals here a look, okay? 12 teams, start 11, Superflex, PPR, 0.5 tight end premium. Guy took over an Orphan and started fire selling. Contending roster with 1.5, 1.8 this year. Made both of these deals back to back. So I'll read one deal, but we're only going to break down one of them, okay? So lefty golfer sent away Braylon Allen and Tajee Spears. Got back Pollard, Ridley, and Kelsey. Love that. Like, I will take the package there. Then lefty golfer sent away Troy Franklin, Brian Robinson, and a 2026 second for Christian McCaffrey. If you showed me this deal a calendar year ago, my screen's broken. Like my pants are off. It's Christian McCaffrey. We saw what happened this year. Christian McCaffrey looked insane for about a quarter, and then he broke himself again. Who knows what Christian McCaffrey looks like, but especially if you have an orphan team that's fire selling. You sent in Franklin, B-Rob, and a 26-second for Christian McCaffrey.
Man, this is an interesting one, because I think on paper it might feel like it's Christian McCaffrey, man, but I kind of feel like I could do more with Brian Robinson in a second right now. I think the Washington offense is, I mean, it's great. Like, there's no other way to kind of say that, right? It's a fantastic offense, and Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler were both very big beneficiaries of that, especially having Jaden Daniels there. And so, yeah, man, again, I am okay to take the tier down from Christian McCaffrey to Brian Robinson. I do think Christian McCaffrey will outscore Brian Robinson this upcoming year. But hey, I get a second man to kind of play with, and I do think that I can patch something together to get something even better. But I do think, again, on paper, it's probably Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm a rebuilding fire sale orphan, getting a 3-for-1 for McCaffrey, where I still get a running back, I get the 26-second, and then I'll call it an upside shot on Franklin, but it's a lottery ticket likely. Like, I'm okay with that, because I don't know if I'm finding anything better for McCaffrey, and I bet that I just kind of want McCaffrey off my roster before the season starts, just to de-risk and to try to make some moves. But I mean, ADP Daddy, it's got the package winning here.
Ooh, okay.
So 4,500 to 3,800 for the package. But again, like we said, Aaron Rodgers' price is very interesting here to me. But if we're talking the price of a late fourth, Eckler, Will Levis, Dalton Schultz, I can eat that price if I get into the asset that I want. So, and right now is probably a great time to take that bet on McCaffrey if you think that he can be a top 5-6 running back in 2025. You're not getting him for cheaper once he starts doing the thing. So, yeah, I think it's a square deal both ways. Both teams got what they wanted. And Lefty, knowing that you've made this deal on the heels of getting Ridley, Kelsey, Pollard, you clearly have probably a contending team that needs to win next year. So good luck. You got 1-5, 1-8 in the back pocket. Yeah, go have fun.
Yep.
Cool, man. Man, Gabe, we did it. Got you back on the hot seat. This was a fun one. It was nice having Cody. It was nice having me ramble into Mike by myself for a hot minute, but it's always nice when we get to connect, man. So I'm glad you're back. Glad we're back on it. But yeah, enjoy the combine today. I don't know if you're going to be watching. What else you got going on this week? And give the people your final thoughts.
Yeah, I'm glad that you are officially done cheating on me. It does feel good to be back
Officially
in the seat.
official.
Officially official. And then I'll be tuning into the combine. Shout out to Ray, Brandon, and Gene. They've got a lot of bets going on right now too in the Discord. So again, make sure you jump in there if you're trying to get some cash. And so I know I've got a couple of betting slips that I'm going to be sweating out here later today for the combine for sure, Ty. And then as far as the weekend goes, man, just going to be spending some time with the family. I think we're going to be actually going to the zoo here in a second since it's still very early. And we're just going to go and have a good time, man. Enjoy the family a little bit before the work week next week. How about yourself?
After the show, I'm probably going to put some screws back into my chair. I've been doing this show with 0 screws in my chair, so I'm surprised the deal didn't knock me out of my seat here. But I'm going to be watching the combine. We have some friends coming over, so making some food, watch some movies, do some fun stuff. But combine, and then probably playing some Sid Meier's Civilization 7 for the remainder of my hours. So
love it.
Love it. Speaking of things I love, Dynasty Daddy, thank you so much for all the tools that you bring us. I hope the ADP Daddy kind of highlight here shows you how, hey, we can use these things. We can understand what prices are we like actually okay spending to get something done, because in today's Dynasty, man, like the fleeces, they're fewer and far between. So you got to give a little to get a little. And if you're willing to make something happen, I think ADP Daddy is a great way to gauge that. And if you need any other help, ddfantasyfootball.com, codes below, underdog, use code ALLGAS, patreon.com/AllGas, get everything DD has to give to you. If you found this actionable, entertaining, anywhere in between, please hit like, hit subscribe, hit us in the comments what you think, what you got going on. We'll get back to you. You want that roster review, sign up with the codes, and keep your eyes out. We're in March now, so All Gas Trade Show League coming soon.
Yep.
Gabe, again, so happy to have you back. Love y'all. Take care. We out of this thing. Peace.